No actor is good all the time. I can't stand watching myself be bad, but I love watching myself in Jimpa. Jimpa and Third Rock from the Sun are my favorite things. I think I'm absolutely hilarious in Third Rock from the Sun.
I guess your last Sundance was remote.
It was, yeah. Like I've been coming since I've come a few times before, and but yeah, the last one, which was a great festival for us, but we weren't here. So it's amazing being back. I love it so much. Yeah, it's just so nice being back in the snow, seeing everybody. The idea that everyone's actually sitting there watching the films together still feels a bit of a novelty. Yeah,
we're having a great time. I think, anyway, having a great time. It's just like, it's big and beautiful and hectic, but amazing. Yeah, we're just all having such a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, but you've been watching Sundance from afar.
For so long. Yeah, I've watched my parents come to Sundance so many times, and it's pretty spectacular to be here and to be able to be in the snow in Park City and going to screenings, and I'm in the film. What? It's so special. It's a thing of myth and legend for me.
How did you find watching yourself on screen? What was
Well, I've watched it 5 times now. I'm comfortable for the first 2, and then okay on the 3rd watch, terrible on the 4th watch, and then I loved it on the 5th. So good overall.
I've got friends who won't watch themselves, and I don't mind. No, I think like all humans, I go, oh, I wish I hadn't done that with my chin. But also, I don't think there's room for, from an actor point of view, you're not meant to have vanity, on screen. We just can't help watch yourself and go, oh, yeah.
Did it feel, because like for those of us who watch you, this felt like a different version of you, obviously. Did it feel like you watching yourself in Jimpa, did you recognize like the different side of yourself that you were showing them?
Well, I've grown older than I realized. Very interesting, because I've recently done a play in London, and a good friend, my oldest friend, came to see it and said, you know, you do something now and then where you suddenly look so old. And I realized, well,
Good friend?
he's a really good friend. No, he thought it was, how do you do that? It was a kind of magical acting. And I think that, I mean, I'm 79 years old, and I think I've retained my youth mainly by acting. But it was very interesting to see Jimpa, because I saw a very different version of myself. And a lot of it had to do with, in the course of the film, you see him gradually decline. And I sort of loved tracking that. Just purely like an audience member, not watching myself act. I began to see Jim and not me. I just found it just terribly moving. It sounds egotistical to say that. I'm just talking about the way I responded to it as a film. So much of it had to do with acting with Collie and with Aud and all these marvelous, the wonderful aunties in the film. It's just, and this is a great tribute to Sophie. You just saw all these relationships come to life in such an emotionally authentic way.
Is that a nickname?
Collie, yes. Yeah, sorry. In case you're going, I didn't know there was a Collie in it.
Are we supposed to keep that secret?
Oh, it's too late now, John. Said it all day.
Oh, and where were we yesterday morning at 6:30 a.m. Mountain Time when they announced?
Fast asleep. I barely have a dog in that race. I love everybody involved in Conclave. I literally had forgotten it was Oscar morning.
Yeah, when I turned my phone on, my friends in England were going, Cynthia! And I was texting Cynthia going, sorry.
Is the nickname Jimpa something that is that fictional, or is that?
No, that was what my dad decided he wanted to be called by Aud. Jimpa, like grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't want to sound too old. So he thought he didn't want to be grandpa, he wanted to be Jimpa. And that's what we called forever. And you called him it, even though he wasn't your grandpa.
I always called him Jimpa from that point on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did anyone else call their grandparents something not very memorable?
My brother, who's older than me, they said, we need to differentiate between the grandparents. So what do you think? And you went, old Nana, young Nana? Nope, that won't, no. And so they suggested one Nana had a dog called Sooty, and so they went Sooty Nana and old Nana. Nana. Oh, go on. Yeah.
A bit like old Nana. Yeah, Sooty Nana. Yeah.
3 of my 4 grandparents were gone by the time I was cognizant. I had my one Grammy. And she sadly, I've been nominated 4 times, but I've never won a Grammy. But I had a Grammy grandma.
What's one suggestion for what Hollywood needs to be doing more of or less of? So like what comes to mind as?
Ooh, it's the end of longer. That's a big question.
It's such a hard moment to answer that, isn't it? Because we just watched the fires and that was so impactful on the whole film community that I'm a bit like, oh, I don't really want to say anything they should be doing.
Yeah.
I mean, making stories, like telling independent stories, telling stories about humans, the things that Hollywood has always done really well. You know, it'd be really nice to think that that's still possible and continues to be possible.
I'm in this marvelous film Conclave, and one thing that people are constantly saying about it is it's like the way movies used to be, and I think it's like the way I responded to Man for All Seasons when I was like 16 years old. It's true. I would love to think that kind of storytelling comes back. Just great writing that turns into great movies.